Hey, welcome back to Velox 18. Man, it's been a while. How you guys doing? You guys doing good? I hope you're doing good because well, you know, times are tough right now. Times are tough, so I hope you guys are doing good. I've been talking to some of my trucking friends and trying to keep tabs on those that I have relationships with, and trucking can be hard right now. And I know most of my watchers are trucking related. But we are transitioning this channel away from trucking. I sold my Peterbilt, and we bought this tow truck and kind of a region around Nashville to do repossessions. So I'm now in the repossession business, for those of you who maybe missed that in the previous videos. Today what we're going to talk about is just tough times. Tough times are here. Tough times are here, man. Most people already believe that we are in a recession. I read a couple different places where they said that they changed the definition of what a recession is in order to say, no, we're not in a recession. With the Fed raising interest rates, which in turn means banks can't get money from the Federal Reserve as cheap as they had been getting it, which means they charge the consumer more interest, which means everything that we buy on credit, which is homes, cars, and unfortunately for a lot of people, they put a lot of other stuff on credit cards. And so we end up paying a lot more for everyday things that we need and use and everything else. And so anyway, with all that already happening, most people would say, yeah, we are already like in the tough times. But some economists predict a soft landing, they call it, for this recession. Some people are saying this is going to be a soft landing. The stock market is actually up 7% or something like that this year so far, which we're 6 weeks in, something like that, 7 weeks in. So it's not crazy deep into the year for it to be up 7%. It's kind of weird because it's kind of it doesn't make a lot of sense to what's going on like on Main Street. But Wall Street doesn't always mirror Main Street, which leads some research analysts, like this guy from Neuberger Berman, I can't even pronounce his name, but they're like a big investment firm. I mean, just crazy, like multiple $billion investment firm type thing. And he said a recession in 2023 will be more severe than expected. And I think that's because some analysts were calling it a cognitive dissonance. There's a difference. There's a disparity between what's going on in like the reality of the economy and what's going on in the stock market, which will hurt the stock market. But I don't really care about the stock market at all. I actually don't have any investment money in the stock market. That's not where I'm trying to invest my money. So what I really care about is Main Street. What I really care about is everyday people. And I can tell you this, that talking to my trucking friends and just looking around me right now, we're going into tough times. Now, you can guess that I assumed we'd be going into tough times, which is why I bought myself a repossession business. I kind of positioned myself to be in a position to, have my business do well during a recession. I wanted a business that was somewhat recession-proof. But I don't like using that terminology because so many things can happen during a recession. The government can change policies like that. The Federal Reserve can adjust things. Financial and economic policy can change overnight, and they can change directions, and they can decide winners and losers. And I don't think that I'm in a position to be able to know what's coming and what changes they're going to make to economic policy and all of that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to the currency with inflation and all that kind of stuff. That stuff goes way over my head. I'm just being honest with you guys. So the reality of it is that I know that I could sense that something, the economy was going down. I knew it was going down, so I bought this business. So it's not just like, confirmation bias though. Because I'm seeing things that I remember seeing back in 2008, 2009. And I'll just tell you, the reason for this video was this one interaction I had. I went to a Burger King, right? Fast food restaurant. Shout out to all my Burger King peeps, because that was my first job I ever had back in Grover Beach, California. What's up? Mike Humarian was the franchisee. Awesome guy. Basically, I was at this Burger King in this area, and people, you could sense the emotional wear and tear that's happening right now on people. You can just sense it. You can see it in their interactions with people, even the employees with the customers. There was a thing where a customer was complaining about a burger. The person who made the burger was the manager, and so he's like, "Well, let me speak to the manager." And she's like, "I am the manager." And it's like, "Well, you didn't put bacon on it. I can show you where I put bacon on it." He goes, "I don't want to see it. You put bacon on it after the fact. It wasn't in the burger to begin with." And she's like, "I don't know what you mean by that." And so I remember I've worked in fast food, like I said, and I remember when times are tough, people just take it out on each other, and they just kind of, I don't know, there's like this emotional effect that people have. They're not happy anymore. They're not having like common grace with each other. They're not having giving each other the benefit of the doubt. Everyone's kind of just, they're ready at the drop of a hat to be on the offensive and to take offense for other people, and some of it is to take control of a situation. That's always what I thought it was when I worked in fast food, was like, these people have no control over what's happening to them in their lives. So they come to a place where a bunch of kids work, a bunch of underpaid, overworked employees, and they complain at them, and they tell them they take control of a situation that they know that they can make that person remake this burger or even get it for free. So a lot of times they're trying to get over on someone and try and get it for free. But I always just saw it as they're trying to take advantage of this situation because they're so out of control in all of their life that they're grasping for some form of control, and someone that they know they can control is a minimum wage worker at a fast food place, and they can really lay into them and not feel bad about it when they go home because whatever, maybe they did order it with bacon, or maybe they did make it wrong, and they just decide that that's the person that they're going to take it out on that day. And so anyway, not fair, not cool. But there was another family that walked in, and there was just this heaviness. And now obviously I don't know what's going on in their lives. I have no clue what's going on in their lives, but they just, I don't know, there was this disconnect happening, and really just sensed I don't know, just this depression, for lack of a better word. It really seemed like they were just kind of really just not they just seemed down. They just seemed really down, and maybe that's just who they are. I don't know anything about these people. I'm just a people watcher. That's what I do. So I'm sitting there eating my burger, and I just kind of see people, and I gather information. I've always done that. It's just what I do. I people watch, and I kind of imagine what people's situations are, what they do for work, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's just what I do. I'm a weirdo, y'all. But anyway, so I don't know. I just had this sense that they just were down. They were just down on their luck, down in their life, and they just kind of seemed like a little bit just down. And so I started thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I was having a bad day. I had a really bad weekend. The business isn't going as well as I'd like it to go to start out. It's a lot harder to get it up off the ground than I thought it was. I did buy I started my own business, but I bought the territory from another business. And so I thought the ramping up would be quicker than it is. So I'm under a lot of stress. My wife's under a lot of stress. We feel it. So I'm feeling that too. And then the truck went down. I had a hydraulic line blow on Friday night, and so this was Saturday, and I was in the middle of working with a mobile mechanic trying to get the right parts for this thing and all kinds of stuff. And then I have this interaction with these two different families at Burger King, and I just got this like clear picture of like, man, when times get tough, a lot of us, what we do is we go into like depression mode and we get like real in our feelings. And so I wanted to make this video in particular to say we have to get ourselves out of that defeated mindset in order to weather these kinds of storms and to maintain and be successful, no matter what you do, whether you're in a recession-proof business or whether you're in straight up retail and your business is going to take a major hit with like a big recession event in our economy. The fact remains, what you do about it, you still have control over what happens like with your business, and you still can make decisions to mitigate your risk to the global economic kind of conditions. You can affect your business more than anyone else or anything else in the world can. So when we feel like a little bit like giving up, like maybe I felt like that over the weekend. Maybe I felt a little like for the first time I was like, man, maybe this isn't gonna work. Maybe this ain't gonna work. I don't know. But when we start to feel like that, it's like, hold on, time out. Like, I have control over this situation. Like, there's so many things I can do to drive more business, to try to create more like a better system. And there's so many things that I can do in my business to make it better, make it more profitable, and increase my own sales. I can't get into that mindset of like being a victim and kind of just laying down, because that's what we tend to do. Is we kind of just lay down, we take it, we say, oh well, we gave it a good go, and now it's over. It's like, but is it? And I hate kind of like sounding like a new age guru where it's like, just keep a positive mindset and then the sky is the limit. If you shoot for the moon, if you miss, at least you hit the stars. Like, I'm not into that stuff. I'm just saying, hey, if you can keep your emotions in check, you can use your brain and you can problem solve a lot better. Because once you let your emotions take over, your problem solving goes out the window and you just like feel bad. So I'm not saying like just keep positive and everything will work out. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, don't let your emotions override your brain. Allow your brain to continue to be like creative and use ingenuity in your situation, even in trucking. Don't just like get like defeated with the one thing that went wrong or two things that went wrong, or maybe the customer you had or the client you had, or the broker that was giving you loads for a certain rate dropped his rate, and whatever. The lane that you really like, isn't running this time of year. Whatever it is, don't let that put you out of business and put you in a position where you're just going to lay down and take it. Like, there's something you can do. You don't have to do what I did and sell out of trucking and sell your equipment and try to move into a different business. There's other things besides that you can do. And I had lots of options at the time that I made this decision. I had lots of options. And so everyone has different options, whether you owe money on your equipment or it's paid off, whether you're leased on, whether you're on your own authority. There's something you can do. I mean, I just talked to a guy in trucking who had the opportunity to lease on with like a big company and make really good money, at least on. And so that was always, that's always an option for guys who run their own authorities if stuff's not going well. If you lease on to one company, maybe look at leasing on to a different company if that company can't keep you busy. Whatever. There's lots of options. And obviously I'm speaking a lot to trucking because that's what most of you are in and where I was in for a long time. But it really, the creativity is there for any industry, any business that you run. There's a way to stay afloat. We're not without hope. We're not just sitting here like, oh well, we're in a recession now. I guess we'll just sit back and let the let the bank come and take our stuff. And I mean, I knew people in '08 who were in pretty favorable positions, but they got into like a weird mindset and they ended up letting a bunch of stuff get repossessed and taken back to the bank. And it really didn't need to happen. Like, it would have been so much better for them to kind of weather the storm and maybe change how they were doing things rather than give up on all of that. There's a lot of ways that you can make different decisions to keep yourself out of that funk, out of that, kind of just laying down and taking it. So I wanted to say in this video, keep your head up. The economy's going down. Keep your head up. Keep your brain working in the creative and ingenuity mode where it's going to be able to problem solve and create different avenues for you, because we're entering into a tough time in the economy and we have to keep our wits about us. Otherwise, we're just going to lay down and take it, and that's never the right move. That's never a good option. That only brings us to puts us back to square one or below. So the people who will come out of this next recession, if we're going to hit one, which we are, the people who are going to come out of this looking good are the people who are able to maintain their wits about them and pivot and adjust and continue making moves with their brains and not just with their emotions. So keep your wits about you, keep your emotions in check, and you'll do fine in this economy no matter what happens. Even if we hit a full-on depression, even if there's so many global factors to the economies now, where all the global economies are so interconnected. It's really hard for me, being a nobody repo man, to try to know what's going to happen in the economy, like, for real. I just look at what's happening in like plain sight, and then I say, yeah, that seems like something like that's going to happen. And if they change policy, or if they do something crazy, if they bail out someone else again, then we just got to adjust. We have to adjust and keep moving and keep trying to play the game. They have the game. They set the rules. They set up the pieces, and then when they want to, they just they're like that. The government is like the friend where he would get up to go to the bathroom when you're winning Monopoly, right? He'd get up to go to the bathroom and he'd accidentally kick the board, right? And whoops, let's reset it up. And all of a sudden he's got like hotels where he never had hotels before. Yeah, the government's kind of that friend, all right? So we can't like set like a hard trajectory and expect to just stay on it. Always expect for there to be twists and turns and loops and all kinds of other stuff, because we're not in control of global economic policy. But we can keep our minds about us, our wits about us, and we can adjust as they change the rules. We can adjust our businesses to try to make the best of it. So that's the message for today. Love you guys. Peace out, and I'll see you on the next one.